very good fighter, a complete fighter, a fighter who I think presents next to the most, he probably the second most difficult guy to fight in the weight class because he's rangy. He can do so many things. He can fight inside. He can fight outside. He's a great body puncher.
And he's able to pull this off and beat Boots on points or somehow hurt Boots and stop Boots and put on a great performance. Puerto Rico has their next great star.
Roy Jones. He is now revealing why Jaron Ennis may be making a serious mistake by accepting a fight with Xander Zayas, and his warning suggests that this matchup could be far more risky and challenging than many people expect.
They hit you repeatedly with the same shot or you won't be around long. So Boots gonna get on his game. I'm sure he's gonna tighten up and get on his A game because he know he has an A.
On paper, Boots Ennis appears to have the edge in speed, power, and overall experience, but that advantage also brings added pressure. Xander Zayas enters the fight as a young, determined, and focused challenger with nothing to lose, especially if many people are already dismissing his chances. The key warning is that the most dangerous fights are not always the ones you're expected to lose. They are often the ones everyone believes you'll win with ease. If Boots takes anything for granted or fails to stay fully focused, Zayas could make this a far tougher and more complicated fight than expected.
Guy, and I think he's very mature for his age. Boots, on the other hand, is looking for that coming out party type fight. So he got to fight somebody at this point. And because he couldn't get A, he went to B. And I like that about Boots because Boots saying, I want all the smoke. If this one won't take me, I'll go find the next one. And so since he couldn't make the fight with Ortiz, he made the fight with Xander. This is what you want to see. This is a barn burner, I think.
That is why Andre Ward's perspective lines up so well with Robert Garcia's warning. Garcia believes that the longer the fight lasts, the more dangerous it could become for Boots Ennis, as Xander Zayas may gain confidence, settle into the fight, and grow stronger as the action unfolds.
Personally, I like his movement. I like how he's carried himself, and I like him. I've seen his growth, calling his fights on ESPN. He's got a lot to like. He's got the range. He's got the height. He's tough. He's got a whole country behind him, and he fully embraces trying to be the next great Puerto Rican champion. And he's going to cause some problems for Boots Ennis throughout this fight. But my initial question.
Andre Ward views this fight from the perspective of a true champion. He knows that natural ability can help a fighter dominate early, but focus, patience, and discipline are what matter when a fight becomes difficult. Boots Ennis has the skills to take control quickly, but Xander Zayas brings a composed and intelligent style that could force him to adjust and work much harder than expected. That is what makes Ward's opinion so important. This matchup is not only about strength and power at 154 pounds, it is about who can stay focused, make the right decisions, and perform under pressure when the fight stops being easy.
His way so much that I don't always see Boots, even though he does have skill defensively, he doesn't always use it. I see Boots sometimes get hit with clean flush shots, and I'll see him get hit in a fight with a repeated shot. And my boxing brain says, you took that shot against this guy. What if you get hit with that same shot against that?
Roy Jones Jr. also highlighted an important factor when discussing Xander Zayas. He does not see him as just another young fighter stepping into a challenge too soon. Instead, Roy believes Zayas has genuine talent, strong self-belief, and the physical size to become a serious threat as the fight progresses. While Boots Ennis is still viewed by many as the favorite because of his explosive style and proven ability, Roy's assessment gives a different perspective. He sees Zayas as a future champion who could create real problems if he remains composed, handles the early pressure, and forces Boots into a slower, more physical, and demanding fight.
Experience, you can go 60-40, 60 with Boots, 40 with Xander, but it kind of is a 50-50 fight.
As a young guy like Xander, naturally it sounds like Xander may be an underdog in this matchup. What do you think that Xander presents to Boots that, one, he hasn't seen before, and that, two, he'll have to adjust to be successful?
Height, discipline, and Xander's actually a good puncher, and he also knows how to work to the body. So Xander is a complete fighter. I don't know how many complete fighters Boots really has faced, but unlike the guy he fought from overseas who was a decent fighter but he wasn't complete, Xander's complete.
Richard Torres believes many fans are underestimating Xander Zayas ahead of his fight with Boots Ennis, and that warning adds a new level of intrigue to the matchup. Most of the spotlight is on Boots because of his speed, power, and status as one of boxing's top talents. However, Torres points out that Zayas is not entering this fight just to compete. He is coming in determined, skilled, and confident, with a huge opportunity to transform his career in a single night. That is what makes this fight so dangerous. When a fighter feels overlooked and has everything to gain, they often deliver their best performance, which is why this matchup should not be viewed as an easy victory for anyone.
I think people are underestimating Xander so much. It's insane to me. Like, people are all like, "Oh, like Xander's not ready for Boots. This isn't, oh, Boots is gonna wash him out. Boots is gonna do this. Boots is gonna do that." Xander's a world champ, a multiple belt world champ, and he's showcased who he is time and time again. I think people are just like washing him out or like overlooking him because he's so young, but I'm giving it to Xander. I think Xander's his boxing ability, his ring IQ, his presence, his just stature. I think it's going to be tough for anybody to beat him. And so I'm excited for this fight, and I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. But
Aaron Ford's breakdown of Xander Zayas and Boots Ennis brings an important perspective to this matchup because he is focused on more than just the excitement surrounding the fight. Boots may have the quicker hands, greater explosiveness, and the type of exciting style that leads many fans to expect an early takeover, but Ford believes there is more to this contest than what appears on the surface.
That Xander's going to give Boots trouble because of the Karen fight, right? It seems like whenever Boots is talked about going up against a boxer, everybody references Karen Chikadze, right?
Right.
Why are we going to see a different Boots in this fight than in the Karen fight?
See, people don't realize, 10 years ago, we turned Boots pro up in Utah, 18 years old, 147-pounder. Now the man was 28 years old, was still fighting at 147. That's hard as hell. A 10-year span. Now he's in the division he belongs in. Guess what? He ain't hurting himself making that weight. Hey, look, this is a junior middleweight man. I'm telling you, that punch like a heavyweight. They ain't gonna believe it right now until they see it. But come June 27th at the Barclays Center up in New York, it's going to be unveiled, man. Going to see something great. It counts on how Boots feel. If Boots want to take a little walk around the park, he'll get him in 6. If we want to be nice up in New York, we get him 8.
If Xander Zayas remains composed, dictates the tempo, and forces Boots Ennis to stay active throughout the fight, this matchup could turn into a far more difficult challenge than many people are predicting.
The best version of Boots look like overall, in your opinion?
The intelligence, the crazy counterpunching. Yo, his imagination is through the roof. Yo, I mean, people don't realize how much imagination, it means in boxing. Yo, man, this guy, man, he do nobody else can do. Except Roy Jones. Nobody's been able to do this Boots do since Roy Jones. And his imagination is crazy, man. It's angles, it's speed. And like I said, punching power, man. They haven't seen his punching power really get up.
However, Andre still favors Boots Ennis in this matchup. While he recognizes that Xander Zayas is talented, confident, and continuing to improve, he believes Boots has the more complete skill set and presents a greater overall threat. His speed, ability to switch stances, punching power, and talent for attacking from multiple angles make him an extremely difficult fighter to game plan against and prepare for.
This is a really, really good fight. It's an old school fight, champion against champion, and it's going to be a tough affair. Honestly, my heart is always with Boots, and that's a fight that's been made, so I'm going to have to side with him. And I think it might just be a little premature for Zayas, but he is a unified world champion, so he has to bring it to the table.
What would be his keys to victory?
Don't get hit.
Who would you say had the edge, just pure boxing wise?
Listen, I've been in camp with Boots. I've seen him since he was a young man. He's just progressed amazingly. He has fast hands. He has wonderful angles. He's ambidextrous.
Mickey understands that Xander Zayas is far from an easy challenge. He sees a young, physically strong, disciplined, and self-assured fighter who believes he is ready for a moment this big. At the same time, Mickey also recognizes why many people continue to back Boots Ennis. Boots brings a unique combination of speed, power, timing, and unpredictability that can shift the direction of a fight in an instant. Moving up to 154 pounds, one of the biggest questions is whether Zayas can remain composed when Boots begins changing stances, creating new angles, and landing punches that are difficult to anticipate. That is why Mickey's opinion carries weight. He views this as a legitimate test for both fighters, but still believes Boots possesses the more dangerous and versatile weapons.
Xander could fight, but I just think he ain't been through the fire like Boots gonna put him through. Like Boots ain't one of them guys that's in there to cruise. He gonna try to get him out of there. So I think he gonna be a little too much for Xander down the stretch.
Yeah,
I think
you think he's gonna stop him?
It's possible, but I think he's gonna dominate him. Because he might have a good chin, be durable. I ain't never see if he could how he take it to the body, but yeah, I just think Boots gonna I think he'd dominate him. But a good fight though. Xander could fight, good fighter, but right now I don't think that he ready.
Robert Garcia believes the Jaron Ennis versus Xander Zayas matchup could be much tougher than many fans expect. Most people see Boots using his speed, power, and natural talent at 154 pounds to take control from the opening rounds. However, Garcia is focused on what happens if that early dominance does not materialize. If Boots cannot seriously hurt Zayas or finish him quickly, the momentum of the fight could begin to shift. Zayas is young, physically strong, confident, and well built for the division, and every round he stays in the fight could boost his confidence even more. That is why this matchup is about more than just Boots' abilities. It is about whether he can stop Zayas from settling in before the fight becomes increasingly competitive.
To look sensational and put a beating on him the first half of the fight, but I think if it goes late into, I think Boots is in trouble because Xander has tremendous heart, big boy, he's a warrior. He has the heart that won't stop him. He won't back up. I think he has a chance.
Shane Mosley sees a realistic path to success for Xander Zayas against Boots Ennis. Rather than focusing only on Boots' speed and explosive offense, Mosley looks at the areas where Xander can limit those advantages. Zayas fights with composure, stays balanced, and rarely loses control under pressure, which can be important against a fighter as dangerous as Boots. One mistake, overreaction, or reckless attack can create openings that Boots knows how to exploit. For Xander, the goal is not to match Boots' flashiness but to control the tempo, stay disciplined, land smart shots, and prevent Boots from finding a comfortable rhythm. Mosley understands how talented Boots is, but he also knows that patience, solid fundamentals, and confidence can disrupt even the most gifted fighters. In his view, Xander's best chance comes from making Boots earn every opportunity and turning the fight into a tactical battle rather than a showcase of speed and power.
For Xander Zayas, that's the next, and he has a good chance to win because it's bigger and he has a lot of speed and foot movement and stuff like that. But for me, I just think Boots has too many tools, man, and he's a little bit older and wiser, but he has too many tools. But you never know. I mean, Xander actually fights, so he must see something, because this fight, if he beats Boots, it makes him one of the legendary fighters in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's a champion thing, but this fight will make him like, okay, he was a beast.
Might put him in the pound for pound.
Yeah, put him in the pound for pound list and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, he believes he can win, so we'll see.
Tim Bradley is picking Jaron Boots Ennis to win, but he is not ruling out Xander Zayas completely. Bradley believes Boots has the advantage in natural talent, power, explosiveness, and the ability to change a fight with a single moment of brilliance. Moving up to 154 pounds, Boots has plenty to prove, and Bradley feels that if he performs at his highest level, he could create major problems for anyone in the division. At the same time, Bradley remains curious about how Zayas will respond when the pressure rises. He sees Xander as a young, confident, and mentally mature fighter who has never been afraid to take on tough challenges. While Bradley gives Boots the edge because of his superior physical gifts, he also respects Zayas' determination, discipline, and competitive mindset. In his view, Boots is the favorite, but Zayas has the tools and attitude to make this a hard-fought battle and show that he belongs among the sport's top fighters.
Against Xander, man. Yeah, the young gun. So, I mean, the young gun is just Man, it's a tough fight, man. I got Boots. I just think that he's ultra talented. However, I mean, Xander could surprise him, man. You know, look, I expect the best Boots version of himself. I expect the best Xander. Boots got more pop on his shots. Boots is, I think, is more talented out of the two. Boots do have some. Boots does have some hope, but so does Xander, man. I mean, look, I think it's gonna boil down to who wants it most. To be honest with you, who wants it most? It's gonna be a dogfight, man. Xander don't mind. He don't mind going toe to toe if he needs to. I know he's gonna probably try to box, but Boots is coming to get his, bro. He's coming to prove a point, and we should get a hell of a fight.
Greg approaches this matchup from a pure boxing perspective. Rather than focusing on popularity or public predictions, he looks closely at preparation, fighting styles, and what each man must prove once the fight begins. He clearly recognizes Boots' Ennis' strengths, including his speed, unorthodox movement, counter-punching ability, and talent for making adjustments during a fight. That is why working with a skilled fighter like Demetrius Andrade in training can be valuable, giving Boots experience against different styles before stepping into the ring. At the same time, Greg sees this as a defining moment for Xander Zayas. While Xander has performed well against the opponents placed in front of him, this challenge is on a completely different level. Now he must show that he can handle elite speed, serious pressure, and a fighter capable of creating danger at any moment. Greg believes Boots is the more proven and accomplished talent, but he also understands that this fight gives Xander the perfect opportunity to prove he belongs among the sport's top names.
Kid, great confidence right now. He unified. And that fight with the boss, Raul showed us he definitely a dog. You know what I mean? He had to bite down in that fight. He took some shots too. You know what I'm saying? He got worked out a little bit too. And fights like that, you learn from. Not saying Abbas is a comparison to, of course he's not, but that did show him something about himself. You know what I mean? He could take a shot and he could fight through tough times. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't do that. Boots just need a body. He needs somebody like Xander. You know what I mean? Xander is, when it comes to experience, I would say they somewhat similar, but then again, no, because Boots do got better names than Xander. I think so. You know what I mean? Xander's just the champion at 54. But Boots is, to me, better skilled, sharper, and I think
Dennis appears to view this matchup through the lens of what Boots Ennis can do once he settles into the fight and begins finding his rhythm. While he respects Xander Zayas as a talented young champion, he seems to place greater trust in Boots because of the many dimensions of his game. Boots is not a fighter who relies on a single approach. He can work from the outside, switch stances, counter effectively, apply pressure, and instantly change the pace with a sharp combination. Dennis believes that versatility is one of Boots' biggest advantages. Zayas is disciplined, skilled, and focused, but maintaining control against a fighter as adaptable as Boots is a difficult task. If Xander becomes too predictable or allows the same pattern to develop for too long, Boots has the ability to recognize it and make quick adjustments. That is why Dennis sees Zayas as a legitimate challenge, but still believes Boots' speed, power, creativity, and overall talent will give him the edge as the fight progresses.
I already know nobody can beat my homie at all. That's what I got in my head, and I already know he got the talents and everything to walk through everybody.
How do you see this going?
How do I see this going?
Decision, stoppage, what?
I'm gonna say stoppage. I don't think it's going. I think Boots too much. I don't think it's going to go decision.
What do you see that Xander does well that could possibly make this a difficult fight?
That could possibly make it a difficult fight. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter, and so he definitely got the skill. I feel like his mindset will help it out. His mindset will help him out, but I feel like he ain't really
so
got too
unprofessional.
much.
He's supposed to be a promoter.
Exactly.
Boots Ennis is normally composed and confident, but this time he appeared determined to put pressure on Xander Zayas long before fight night. His comments did not come across as simple trash talk. Instead, they seemed like a message that he views himself as the superior fighter and the man ready to make a statement at 154 pounds. For Xander, this is where the mental battle begins. Boots understands that Zayas is young, ambitious, and full of confidence, and his words may be an attempt to see how Xander handles added pressure. The key question is whether Zayas stays patient and focused or allows emotions to influence his decisions. That is important because Boots has the skill and experience to capitalize on mistakes very quickly. If Xander becomes too eager to prove himself, he could fall into the type of fight that favors Boots. At the same time, the exchange adds even more excitement to an already meaningful matchup. Boots wants to show that his speed, power, and overall ability place him on a different level, while Xander is determined to prove he belongs among the elite. The tension continues to build, and now the real response will come inside the ring, where Xander must show he can handle everything Boots brings once the opening bell sounds.